Hello and welcome to the Ecological Delve. Where we will be taking a closer look into the world of Monster Hunter. Whether you have never heard of this world, you are just starting out on your adventure, or even if you are a seasoned veteran, all are welcome to join me as we take a delve. Now, what we have here is the TziTzi-Ya-Ku. This dazzling theropod has earned himself many nicknames. High Beams McGee, The New World Nine Bang, Mr. Purple Nurple, that one's my personal favorite, and for you Scott Falco fans, the Titty Kicker. Although that one may not hold much water with the Department of Standards and Practices.
Standards and practices are a vital link in keeping good and funny ideas away from you, the television viewer. Watch how this nun reacts when we blow her brains out.
Now, this is mainly because most people don't want to attempt to pronounce his name correctly, but also because he has given much of the community several memorable hunts. Whether those are good or bad memories is kind of case by case. But hey, being infamous is still better than being forgotten. Ain't that right, Yian Garuga? The TziTzi-Ya-Ku is another bird wyvern, meaning that some hollow femur bones, please refer to my Kulu video for details, and a maddening amount of jumping are back on the menu. I swear to God, TziTzi, if you don't stand freaking still, I will go get my aqua shot, load up my hate crime ammo, and teach you a lesson you will never forget!
Through the city, old school on them big boys, 12-inch whoopers in the trunk making big noise, got the big toys, don't make me have to flash, let 100 rounds go.
Another notable trait is that he is a huge coward and will run away from anything larger than himself, unless backed into a corner by an Odogaron, in which case he loses that fight horribly. I'm pretty sure it's the shortest turf war in the New World. We hunters don't seem to frighten him too much. He'll attack us with only a slight hesitation. It must be the case that monsters can't inspect gear, because if he could see my Fatalis armor, I'm sure he'd think twice before trying to piss in my Cheerios. Being a small-framed monster doesn't put you very high on the food chain. This is showcased by Mr. Purple Nurple being primarily found patrolling the lower regions of the Coral Highlands, only venturing north for a bit of sunbathing or passing through to the flock of Raffinos, which is his primary food source. And he can only be found in the Highlands as well. Now, zone exclusivity is nothing special. Many monsters only have one zone they inhabit because they have no need to venture into other territories, so they simply choose not to. But I suspect that in TziTzi-Ya-Ku's case, it is more about ability, or lack thereof, and less about choice. To be fair, there is one instance of seeing a TziTzi in the Rotten Vale, but it's only in a cinematic, and it's his corpse, so that is, mediocre. Then again, the whole ecosystem of the Rotten Vale is built off the dead stuff from the Coral Highlands, so that's really par for that course. Now, some of you may have noticed that I'm doing a bit of beating around the bush so far in this video. Well, that's because there is really only one distinct characteristic of the TziTzi-Ya-Ku. and I'm trying to pad the watch time a bit so this video isn't like 3 minutes long. Now, let's finally delve into his special organ. I swear to God, Research Commission, this lazy train you've been riding really makes my job harder. Is a little creativity too much to ask for? I just spoke 500 words without really saying anything. It's not that hard. Special organ, my ass. Anyway, this feature is seen in our world on a species of lizards called the Chlamydosaurus kingi, or the frilled-necked lizard. Hey, look at that! Neck frills! An easily Googleable alternative to special organ. I'm over it. Their primary purpose is for mating and scaring off predators. I think they aren't very intimidating at all, but are instead extremely adorable. When my baby girl eventually grows up and asks for a puppy, I'm definitely getting her one of these instead. Now, the TziTzi's frills are not strictly for display purposes only. Although when they are retracted, his eyebrow game is on point. They are able to produce a blinding light that will stun monsters and hunters alike. Once he has stunned you, he will either follow up with a jumping attack or do the real hero move of just running away.
Psych!
This attack has the unique property of being a guaranteed stun and will always connect with its target when in the affected area. So turning around and closing your eyes won't save you. The flash attack has a limited range and is highly telegraphed, so avoiding it is one of the best ways of dealing with this nonsense. Unless you are in his nest. There, he can use the glittering shells on the walls to bounce around his flash attack and make it really hard to avoid. My favorite method is just to bring a weapon with a shield. And if you don't normally use a weapon with blocking capabilities, Mr. Purple Nurple is a good opportunity to get some practice with one. Because all in all, he is not a very tough monster. Just an annoying one. So he makes a great training dummy if you want to try something new. But if his stunning performance is truly the bane of your existence, then I suggest taking the advice from this flying purple people eater.
You should have gone for the head.
Breaking his head completely, not just wounding it, will get rid of his stun attack altogether. This is also unbeknownst to him because he will continue to try and flash you, but it will fail every time, which is as sad as it is hilarious. But if all else fails and he still makes your eyes bleed no matter what you do, a little stun resistance goes a long way. His defensive characteristics are as lackluster as my self-esteem. Pick any element or ailment and he will graciously accept them all. He only has one breakable part and one weak point, but both of those are his head, which is also the most easily accessible part of his body. So it is kind of a no-brainer that you should turn him into a no-brainer by means of whichever forceful trauma tickles your pickle the most. Because he is actually weak to everything. He is so weak to everything that they had to put another fourth thing there just to get the point across. What even is this? It's just a question mark. The Research Commission has no idea what this is, they just know he's weak to it. It's like a little pouch or dime bag or something. What is he, like every noob hunter out there and doesn't like Dust of Life? This is a public service announcement. Make Dust of Life, as well as its ingredients so you can make more in the field, part of every single one of your item loadouts. I am tired of running wide range on every one of my builds just so I can keep you scrubs alive. Contrary to almost everything I just said, I honestly think the TziTzi is an alright monster. The flashing ability is very unique and isn't seen with any other monster, but we have a problem here of all icing with no cake. Now, when I was just a little baby ecologist in middle school, I knew a few kids who could eat just straight icing with no cake, but now I am pretty sure all those kids are in prison. I was recently joking with a friend of mine that the TziTzi-Ya-Ku had a variant in Iceborne that was basically a giant Cerberus, a huge 3-headed purple nurple that blinded you 3 times in a row, and the flash attacks now do damage as well. She was mortified by the idea, but it made me think about my problem with this guy. It really seems like there could have been so much more from him. Like with the Kulu and his giant crystal in the Behemoth questline. There is a new monster hunter right around the corner, and I sincerely hope that this isn't the last time we see the TziTzi-Ya-Ku. And when, or if, we see him next, I sincerely hope he is given much more love and consideration than this one. I have been your host, Kanani96, and this has been the Ecological Delve. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, tell all your friends, and stay tuned for the next episode.